first couple of days are going to be, making music, basically, I think. And we just, Steve sets up drums, I set up kind of opposite him. And we just go for it, There's no, rehearsals. Not doing, multiple takes of everything. It's very much about trying to capture the spirit of that moment when Steve and I, truly kind of engage with each other.
Kieran introduced me to the studio when I had to make a record for soul jazz. I was looking for a inexpensive but highest quality studio. I was looking for the dream of the best for less. And when we went in this place, I saw right away, first of all, it has windows in it, and it's up above the street, and you can see out. And also because the whole room is wood. So to me, it's like playing in a drum. And it has a great drum sound in the room. There's no boost. You can reach across, and the love can flow around the room. And that's what it's got to be about,
I'm Graham.
Where are we?
I set up the Exchange about 19 years ago. I kind of wanted to have a very pure sounding studio because a lot of stuff that gets recorded, the energy of what the musicians are playing, I think a lot of that is absorbed into the equipment and the way things are put together. So I wanted a very simple setup.
This kit is going to be baptized today. It's a brand new kit. And to the person from where it came from, the company, I want to say a special thank you. It's a pleasure. This is like the kit I play in New York, so it's really, it's perfect for me. So I'm really happy. Nothing is going to take away my happiness. Not today, not tomorrow.
Okay, equipment I'm using is got a mixer over here. Basically, all the sounds and stuff I'm using go into here. I control the levels of them, the EQ, things like that. There's this side of the mixers, like effects and stuff, kind of echo effects. There's like a sampler as well. If I'm getting something good going on, I can make like a little loop of it and keep it going on here. These are both samplers as well, and they also have like effects and stuff. I use these when I play with Steve because I want him to be able to keep time. I don't want to feed him any kind of loops or any fixed things with a fixed kind of pulse to them. So I put sounds in here so I can effectively play samples in my own timing. So I'll put I've got some bass notes on this one, on the rubber pads, and Steve will play a rhythm to me, and then I'm able to keep time by pressing the pads in time. I've got two of them, so usually I'll have one running, maybe a melodic line, a bass line or something, and this one for other kind of percussion sounds and noises and things. They're all kind of linked together as well, so this one passes through this one. I can put effects from this machine over the whole thing, so and everything that's been sent from here passes through the effects here. This is like a ring modulator sort of effect.
I'm just making final adjustments.
Also going into these boxes is this keyboard over here, but everything passes through this thing in the middle basically. So this is just a basic kind of analog synth, which I use for all these mad electronic noise, and I have that passing into here so I can use all the effects and stuff in here as well. All the more sort of digital stuff I do and the kind of glitchy stuff is kind of all done on here. For instance, this is a recording of some like bowed double bass that put into the computer, and doing something with Steve, I might start with a sound like this, and you know, it's just quite conventional kind of bowed double bass stuff, but I can like loop small bits of it just using the mouse, highlight bits, so and I might find something like that sounds pretty good, might inspire Steve to do his thing, and then I'd start like dropping in other rhythms and stuff on here, and all the keyboard and stuff, like drums, things like that. And basically kind of build it up like that. I'll have one hand on here, the other thing go on here, and then I'll hold it and then I'll move over and generally try and make the sound of everything apart from the drums, I guess, in one go, really.
I'm Antoine.
I'm Joseph.
And we are just near the Fondation Cartier where it all started.
In Paris.
At first, I was a friend of Kieran for quite a while, and speaking with Joseph, we said we have to make a meeting with Kieran and another musician.
And just someday we were having lunch together and we said, we really like Steve Reid's records.
Yeah,
and
so why not?
We should try and find him. What happened to him?
I mean, it was like when they just started, it was like they knew each other for always. Their first gig was in the Fondation Cartier in Paris, but the first meeting was the night before the first gig for a quick sound check.
They just like started the sound check and they started playing.
It was just amazing at the first second. Yeah. It was just like, oh my god. We looked in the eyes and we said, oh my god, what have we?
Yeah. So I think they played like for maybe an hour or something.
And it was just, I mean, as balanced as it is now.
Mm.
From the first second it was...
Green Sleeves is a track they made when Steve gave a music box to Kieran.
Bit of Green Sleeves.
Because it's always exchanging ideas. I mean, myself, when I hear their music, I hear like cave music, you know, like really I can hear. I mean, and the way they go to their instruments is like when you see like the first human going to grab his first instrument. I mean, they want to discover, they want to experiment. You can feel they don't want to go into a certain trend. I mean, they play what they want to play, and don't care about what it's going to sound like, if it's going to be rock, jazz, electronic. They don't care about it. I mean, it's just music, and that's music in the now. I mean, they're doing what they feel. I mean, it's really open. They can make a track which can last 25 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 seconds. It can have a rock beat or funk beat or no beat at all or whatever. It doesn't care at all. As soon as it is heartfelt music and they're in communication together and that they're happy.
Yo, this is Steve Reid. In order to stay in the rhythms, you gotta be with the posse. Get behind the sheriff, worldwide, Gilles Peterson.
Being a record collector, I've always picked up sort of odd records, rare records, breaks records, and I've got a few Steve Reid records from the sort of like late 70s, early 80s, which are just great sample records, basically, jazz, slightly avant-garde. And you know, yeah, I thought for me, Steve Reid was basically just one of those names on a rare list of records that I'd sort of head towards if I was in a record shop or if I was looking at a list on the internet. And suddenly, a couple of years ago, he released a record on soul jazz, which was brilliant. It was just spot on, and I got to meet him at that time, and then it was a whole new world, really.
You saw most jazz musicians who are still alive in that period now, they will not be trying to push something on their new album. They're looking back, whereas he seems to look forward. And I mean, it's unique. It's unique to have someone who's played with James Brown, to have someone who's played with, you know, who's neighbours with John Coltrane or whatever. You don't, you know, there's probably 5 or 10 people like that alive. None of which I would suggest are probably making the boundary pushing music that he's making and sort of doing it commercially as well.
Kieran Hebden is one of the pioneers in, I suppose, electronic adventure when it comes to music, and really retaining the approach of people like Sun Ra, I think, in electronic music terms. So he's a Don, and Steve Reid's a Don. So for the two of them to come together to work on this project, because in a way it's not really club music, because it's very free and it can go anywhere, but somehow the two of them combining, the two cultures combining, the two audiences combining, created something quite spectacular.
that?
Just explaining Tom Baker from Eat Your Own Ears.
Hello.
Who's promoted all our shows in London. A hero of the London music scene.
Where are we now? What's going on?
Green Man Festival. Tom's just provided us with this essential festival fare.
Steve, can you tell me what's been going on? What's been going on with your luggage?
I haven't had my cymbals in 2 or 3 weeks, and it's becoming a problem. But everything is cool tonight, so don't worry.
Why are you particularly attracted to like Steve and Kieran's music?
I did their first gig in London at the Spitz, and it was a totally sold out show, and I think a lot of people expected to see a Fortet show because it was billed as Fortet and Steve Reid, and they were blown away by this like crazy jazz drummer and Kieran doing his usual mad electronics. Their set, even though it's improvised, they've still got a set as it were, I think, and to me I think it sounds a bit like Bitches Brew, that sort of that vibe, you know, and it's quite catchy and driving and amazing. I mean, they recorded two, I think they met in Paris, recorded for the first time, then played at the Battle Phare, came to London, did a gig there, then they did a Gilles Peterson session, recorded 2 albums all in 5 days, the whole thing.
We've only got like 45 minutes, so.
It's pretty amazing though, like 2 albums in a day. Yeah, it's incredible, 2 albums in that's mad. And they've done another one now, haven't they?
And if you could welcome to the stage now, Kieran Hebden and Steve Reid.
Oh, that light is ridiculous. I'm guilty. I did. Okay, no.
How about that? Is that better?
That's all right. You can let it go. This is the Big Chill Festival, and it's been beautiful. Beautiful production, beautiful audience, beautiful everything. It's been a very wonderful, amazing, and funky experience.
Yeah, it felt good. It felt like a good one. Yeah. Sound on stage was good.
Yeah, it's so much bigger.
Steve was sweating.
The good thing about the live experience with Steve and Kieran is that it's not all about your South Banks or the kind of the nice little festival, the jazz festivals that you kind of get in your Montrose or at the Barbican all over the world, but they actually want to take it into the club, get people dancing, get some energy there and put it to a new audience, and that's what I really like about the project that they're doing. I can tell by the venues that they've picked and the areas and the way that they've been going about promoting themselves. It is about pulling in new audiences and focusing on the energy rather than having a sit-down audience to sat there going, that's nice.
Nigel Godrich was working on this idea for this pilot for a TV show, and we went and did that with him at Maida Vale Studios last year, and he had us do it, and White Stripes came and played, and Tom York from Radiohead did like a solo thing, but yeah, it was pretty mad for us to be doing our thing kind of in the middle of these like, you know, huge like kind of rock bands and stuff. You know. I can hardly even remember what the music was totally like that we did.
You just reminded me the other day that it was something, but
it was some crazy shit.
Yeah, of course, all the time.
Improvised music is rarer these days. It used to be like a real mainstay of blues and all of that stuff that spawned the pop music of the 60s and the 70s, you know, the Led Zeppelins to the you know, Hendrix and all that shit, was about some improvisation and some skill to be able to improvise, which has kind of been lost, really. You learn in a studio what your possibilities are from day one. You learn what you can do, what the scope of possibility for change and ways of like changing things after they've been done. That's what you're learning, like with multi-track tape machines and like 24 faders and like the ability to sort of go back and remix something. Or Kieran's a different kind of film where he's like the artist and producer anyway, so you know, it's more like he has a very particular single vision. So you know, and the way that he was describing it to me, it was like he's found this place at the Exchange, and it does, to him, it's got everything that he needs, you know, because there's this board that doesn't have any controls on it, it's just volume and pan. You know, you just say where it goes in the stereo and how loud it is. I spend my life trying to pare it down like that, you know, I sort of trying to record on 4 tracks at the moment. The utterly amazing thing about it is that you can go into a session and in an afternoon you can make an album. You know, you can leave. You're making your music and it is what it is. It's not apologising for anything, not apologising for itself. It's absolutely, what you see is what you get, and it's done. It's just, it's great, and nobody's doing that now, really.
Sounds I got left in here, Steve, are truly weird. Okay. So I feel like.
It's alright, man. We got plenty, man.
Yeah, I know.
But anytime you have any spare time, man, you should be making up new stuff. Kieran, just tell me about it or something.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I like to leave it just for ages and not work on anything. Yeah. So it's all like in my head, like a million ideas.
Yeah, let it sit.
And then when we start the recording, because it's got to be like suitably different to.
Yeah.
So this is all stuff I've like prepared in the last few days, really. Rather than stuff I've been working on for.
Yeah. No,
so I just want it to be like in the moment.
Yeah. Whip. Getting a little tired, a little doggy, but it's okay. Hang in there. Okay, you still want to keep going, huh? Oh, no.
Me?
No.
Like I said, all I've got left is like weird shit.
No, it's cool, man. You did a great job, man.
I think we're pretty much there. I think we've got so much stuff now.
You think you got enough for the slammy jammy? You're gonna try to get a little rough mix out of all the cuts, just and slap them on a CD. So I'll have something to take with me, and Karen can take something when we listen to it. And when we meet for the tour at the end of March in Los Angeles, we can say what we want to do. You know, which ones we individually like and collectively like. So I think it'd be great. Things we like, we will incorporate into the live thing. Certain moments of all of this stuff. This is the people that come live get it. It's a different thing, you know. This is what we're trying. Our studio sessions are different. Our live sessions are different, you know. So you have to buy it all in order to experience the Kieran Hebden, Steve Reid exchange. This is going to be really a great session, and this mix is not even stressful because it was.
Well,
really,
you thought it was going to be stressful.
It was really cool. It's really I wasn't even here for something that I heard was stressful.
Okay.
On my own records, by the way. But it was just done so correctly the first time. That this is just a matter of little fine tuning and stuff like that. So it's really a pleasure. It's like family. We did this like a family thing. Look how happy they are.
That's so good.
They freak me out a little bit. We'll be filming and then they look over and they're kind of grinning like mad, and I'm just like
I told
thinking
you it was like a moony thing.
Okay.
A lot of production can be quite technical, you know, like a producer might have in mind something that they want, and that's it, and they strive to get that, and there's, you know, you concentrate on certain things. With Kieran and Steve, it's all made up. They kind of know roughly what they're going to do, but it's just made up on the spot. So you get these, I think you get these moments of magic where they kind of all just play, but then at some point they both peak, and it's just, you know, it's completely unique. So it's a good thing to be involved in.
Have set out to just, you know, ignore any of the normal channels you're supposed to go with and do anything in the way anyone would expect someone to work with a project like this. And, you know, we are playing clubs alongside like techno DJs, and we are releasing records on labels that put out rock bands and stuff, and just not worrying about anything. Just, I know I find I work with Steve, I get this wild kind of confidence, you know, I just feel kind of, you know, that we can just do anything, you know, and that anything's possible. You know? It's a really exciting feeling.
Music is like a big house, and when you put a different view in it, it has another window in it. So you have all these windows. It could be a Coltrane window, it could be a Hendrix window, it could be Bob Dylan window, it could be anything, you know. It could be African, Indian. So we're gonna make another window, a couple of windows in the house.